Hello. In this video I'm going to talk about setting up a UniFi. It's the AP-AC-LITE access point. So in a previous video I set up the controller software. So if you aren't familiar, a lot of times when you buy, say, like an ASUS router, it'll have a web interface to configure the router. The Ubiquiti UniFi products don't have like web interfaces on the actual hardware. You use a UniFi controller to configure all those pieces. Once you have it configured, you can shut down the UniFi controller, but for certain features you may need to leave the UniFi controller up. So, and if you have used Apple's airport access points, you had to use like external software to configure those. It's kind of similar to that, not exactly the same. But one thing you can do is you can go to the Ubiquiti website and you can download the controller. Here you can download it for Mac or Windows or Debian. I chose to install it on my Synology disk station and in a Docker, which is like a virtual machine thing. And I can just leave it running there. So I made another video with how I did this. I used the instructions I found online on this website, and there may be other instructions on how to do this. Just when I did, I made the other video just so you have a reference to how I'm starting out. So I left that video off at this page. I installed the UniFi controller and I accessed the web interface. So the first thing you may see here is it says the browser is not supported. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this URL, and it does work in Safari, but I'll go over to Chrome, which is supported. So I'll open up Chrome here. Let's see, this is my first time opening Chrome on this user account. But I'll paste in the URL, and it will say the connection is not private. I'll hit advanced and proceed to the site. This is because it's the certificate is not a signed certificate. Okay, so let me see, I'll make this full screen. Okay, so it's going to ask for my country, ask for my time zone. It's going to say, do I want to enable auto backup? And this is all correct. It knew my time zone for some reason, but you can change those if you need to. And I'll hit next. And I've plugged in the UniFi AP-AC-LITE access point. So it has an IP address using DHCP, so I want to select that, saying I want to configure it. So I'll do that and I'll hit next. And then it says configure Wi-Fi, and it says you may skip this step if you're not setting up any access points. Well, that's what I am doing. So I'll call this saucer, because it kind of looked like a flying saucer. And then I'll set the security key, I'll change it to saucer pass. And I'll be changing this later. This is just for the video tutorial. So it says optionally you may create an open wireless network for your guests. So you could click this and do a guest SSID. I'm not going to be doing that right now. I'm just doing a basic setup. So this video is kind of tailored for people that buy one of these access points and they want to say extend their wireless network, and they may not have all the Ubiquiti stuff yet. This might be their first equipment. So then I'll hit next here, and it wants me to type an admin name. So I will type my name. It wants an admin email address, so I'll type an email address here, and then it wants a password. I'll fill this out, and then I'm going to swap this before, so I'm not going to type my password on the screen. So okay. So it has this device authentication, and it says the device password must be different from super admin password for security reasons. So this will have this password here. So we can copy this, and I'll put that in, let's see, I'll just put it in a note file for right now. Okay. Close this out. Okay. And I have my username and password, so now I'll hit next. Now it's going to say, please review the settings. Once finished, you'll be redirected to the management interface. So the country says United States, time zone is America, Chicago, secure SSID is Saucer, no guest ID, admin name is Rick, device admin name is admin, and I'll hit finish here. And now it's asking me to enter my ubnt.com account. So this is if you have an account on Ubiquiti's website, which I do not. So I'll hit skip. And this is going to take me to the dashboard. So right now you'll see I have one access point, which is what we just configured here. If I click on that, it will bring this up. It says it's provisioning it. So it's not ready yet. Okay, now it says connected. So if we click on this, it'll bring up the properties over here on the right side. I think we can click this double arrow to make it go away. If you hit locate here, it will, I think, flash the light on top of it. So if you have like 20 of these things, you want to know which one you're accessing, you can use that feature. Or you can hit restart here. Let's go back. I think if we hit this button up here, we can get back into the properties. So this has all sorts of information about the access point. You know, the frequencies, the memory usage, things like that. If you want to configure it, you can click over here on configure and we can give it an alias. You can say turn the LED light off. You know, if this was in a bedroom or something, you might want to do that. You can change the radios, things like that. So the configuration is over on this tab. So this actually took me a second to figure out because it was on details, and you can't change anything here. So you have to click over on config. Then it has tools here, this RF environment. You can scan for frequencies and stats. So let me connect to this access point. I'm going to connect on my iPad. You won't see this here. But I'm going to go into my settings and go to my Wi-Fi on my iPad. I'm going to pick Saucer, and I'm going to type in my password, which was SaucerPass. So, okay. So I've connected up my iPad. You'll see here now client's been updated to 1. If we look at clients here, we'll see it has my iPad on here. And has information about the iPad, IP address, all sorts of stuff. Of course, I just got on, so it's not going to show very much. But, and I think, let's see, what can we do here? We can we can block this iPad. We can reconnect it. We can undock the property panel, or we can close it. So I'll close this. So, so that's kind of the basic of setting up the access point. There's other things on here. There's statistics, which will show statistics on your devices. There's a map feature where you can, I guess, draw a map and put your access points on there. This shows the devices itself. The clients shows everyone connected to the devices. Insight shows like other Wi-Fi access points in your area. If we go down to the bottom, there's like release notes. There's events, alerts, live chat support, and then settings. So settings is somewhere you may want to go. You can set all these features here. For some reason, this interface is acting a little odd. See if I can get that to go away. There we go. You can set up like automatic upgrades. I mean, there's a lot of features on here. Change your password, admin password. So if we click on like wireless networks here, it'll show the wireless network we have set up. If I hit edit here, let's see, we can change the security on it. Advanced options. Let's see, it says we can block LAN to WAN, multicast and broadcast data. We can set up a VLAN, enable fast roaming, hide the SSID, things like that. So, but I'm not going to go over all this. My main thing in this video is just to go through the basics of setting this up. So if you were to buy one of these access points, you know the first thing you need to do is install a UniFi controller. So I installed it on my NAS device. You could install this on a Mac, a PC, or Linux machine. You don't have to have the controller on once you configure it, but for certain features, like if you have this guest policy, it says apply guest policies, captive portal. I think if you have all that set up, you have to have the controller set up to do that. So, but it was pretty basic really to get this access point set up. Once you give it an SSID and a password, it configures itself, and then you can connect to it and you're online as long as your network is online. So this is a pretty good option to add Wi-Fi to an existing network or to extend Wi-Fi to an existing network. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. As I said before, I'll put links in the description to some playlists on this stuff, my Synology playlist and my Ubiquiti playlist, and I'll put a link to the products I've used in here too. So if you're interested in those, they'll be my Amazon affiliate links, and if you use those, it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you a thing extra. So thanks for watching. Goodbye.